Good morning to you, Ben Keith. Great to have you with us. People have been sending in their questions for you in their droves, so we're going to crack on, okay? You ready?
Great to see you, Julian. Thank you very much.
Okay, first of all, in lockdown, give us one film and one box set that we should read and watch whilst we're bored.
Okay, I think a good book to read is, there's so many, and I'm disgraceful. Sometimes I have a year where I'll read a book a week for a year and then I don't read a book for a year. But something that I think everybody would enjoy is The Corrections by Jonathan Franzen. He does some really deep character studies, and it's hilarious and it makes you cry at the same time. So I recommend The Corrections by Jonathan Franzen. And a box set, I don't think anything gets near The Sopranos. I think that when I watched I've actually watched it twice, and I don't know, it just takes you in, doesn't it? And it's you know, at the end you think, well, what happened to Tony Soprano there? But yes, I would say that I'd recommend The Corrections, and I think The Sopranos. I think that's the best box set.
Okay, you're very known for your restaurant blogging. When this pandemic is over, which will be the first restaurant you'll visit? Who will you invite, and what will you order?
Well, that's a nice question. Belinda, my partner, and Georgina, our baby daughter, we go, obviously not during the lockdown, but we go virtually every Saturday to Yasser's, which is near Black Horse Road Tube. We go there late afternoon, early evening, and we meet my good friend Jerry Croxford, who's a professional gambler on dogs, and his two sons are there, Tommy and Georgie, and I've really known them virtually all their life growing up. And we hear about how they've done at school that week, what they're doing at the weekend. And Georgina, my daughter, she loves Tommy in particular, Jerry's son, and it's just a nice place. The people who run the restaurant know us. We have a big table. Georgina's in a high chair throwing food everywhere. It's dirt cheap, and I love their kebabs and salads. So I would say Yasser's in Black Horse Road, found the best kebab in London, and with Jerry, his children, Belinda, and my daughter, Georgina.
That's lovely. Now, a serious question. Do you think betting shops will ever fully recover from this pandemic, with customers likely to be switching to online betting when sport returns behind closed doors?
I think that they definitely will. I think that, look, when the roulette machines went from 100 quid to 2 quid, many shops closed. And this is a terrible thing to say on a granular level, because there'll be bookmakers out there who've been like, they've lost their livelihoods because of that. But so I don't want to sound arrogant or offensive to them, because they then become a statistic. But a lot of shops closed because of that change, and that was always going to happen at some point, right? Now, still though, there are, you know, are there enough betting shops? There certainly are. Are there still a bit too many? Probably. It's not like you can ever not find one. And I think that you'll probably find, Julie, the shops that closed were maybe not the ones that, you know, they were just the ones that were maybe breaking even or still not making any money anyway. But I think that betting shops are now having quite a rejuvenation. If you go to see what Coral have done at Warren Street Tube, they've got a lovely shop there that they've done up. It's like a pub almost, right? Very comfortable. I think that betting shops, because of the roulette machines for many years, became quite arrogant, and it was easy money. And now, you know, they're going to have better trained staff, nicer environments to sit in, you know, clean toilets. So I think that although there will be some sad cases now, on the whole, for betting shops, it probably gives us all another kick up the arse to make them nice again. So I think some more will close, but the ones that are around will improve, and I think they definitely will recover, Julie, yes.
Excellent. Okay, if you were coming into the game now, what area would you concentrate on?
I think that if that is a general question for anybody, I would say it doesn't matter as long as you concentrate on that area. I think that gambling, whether you're a bookmaker or a punter and you're trying to find an edge, this isn't a sort of PR spin or bluff. You have to have real knowledge about what you're doing, expertise. So look, I think if you want to be the best on-course bookmaker, you can do that. If you want to have really busy betting shops, you can do that. Look, I'm really happy with the shops that Star have opened. We're doing business in them that I never could have dreamt. And we're finding punters in the shops that will bring them to the online. If you want to be an online bookmaker and you want to offer punters a good service, and you do, people will bet with you. So I don't want to sort of duck the question, but if you do something well, I think you'll always do well at it.
Okay, I love this question. We know that after eating, greyhound racing is your great passion.
Yeah.
If you were made king of greyhound racing for 1 year, what would you do with the sport?
I think that horse racing, sorry, I can hear Georgina shouting. I think that horse racing suffers from delusions of grandeur where they think that they are a bigger sport than they are, and they don't need to have Rita Ora on after racing at Newmarket, and they don't need to have, beer festivals or whatever when the racecourse isn't being used, and that essentially that they can be their own sustainable little world, but they can't. Greyhound racing doesn't suffer from that delusion of grandeur, but I think that greyhound racing could use more their premises. I think it's a naff word, but they could sweat the asset more. You know, I liked Pascal Taggart when he put together his proposal for Wimbledon. He said, well, hang on, we don't need a whole track. We can have flats the other side, offices. What do we actually need, and how can we work the rest of the land? That for me is that's very, very important. Or what happens is people who don't care about greyhound racing come along and say, well, it's all very well that you're making that money out of your dog racing, but that doesn't justify using that huge space of land for it, because land in cities and towns is at such a premium. So I think that a bit like Kevin Boothby, who we all wish the very best of luck to, he's going to have weddings, pop concerts, he's going to have an open air cinema, all the rest of it. Get the most out of the dog tracks, because then I think that everybody wins.
Okay, who is your ideal dinner guest? One that you've never met, one who's dead, and one who's alive.
What a nice question. When you sent through the questions, I saw that one and I thought, well, if I had to pick somebody famous who was dead, I would like to pick Oskar Schindler, because I always used to love watching Schindler's List, and he was a bit of a hero, because he was a bit of a sort of entrepreneur. He could have been a bookie in another life, but he was also a nice guy, and he showed that you can earn a few quid and still be a good chap. But it's, do you know something now? When I was at school, I was a school bookie, and everybody used to bet with me. The teachers used to bet with me. They used to, and all the boys used to come to my, where I was at break time and place their bets on the racing. I'd have the Racing Post and Sporting Life there, and they bet on the football and all the rest of it. And there was a boy in my year called Mark Young. And he was a really good friend of mine, and he was the biggest boy in the year, you know, rugger lad, all the rest of it. And anyway, Mark used to go round and remind the boys who placed losing bets to come and pay me. And he was such a good friend. Anyway, we obviously left school, and I went off to become a bookie, and Mark went to university at Oxford Brookes. And anyway, he was walking home from the pub one night, and he got run over and died, and everybody from the school went back, and we went to his funeral, and it was a terribly sad occasion and all the rest of it. And I often think about Mark, and I think, you know, so to answer your question now, I think I'd like to have dinner with Mark Young, and see how he's doing and tell him what I've been up to. If I had to pick somebody who's alive, I'm very lucky that I've met virtually everybody I'd like to meet, except one person. I would like to meet Mike Tyson. I think that when you hear Mike Tyson speak, first of all, I think he's hilarious. I think he's got fantastic gallows humour, but I think he's actually got a lot of depth, right? And he says a lot of very, very interesting things. I would like to have dinner with Mike Tyson. And yeah, but I'm quite lucky that I've met most of. I'd quite like to have dinner with Oliver Stone as well, the film director. I love his films. But no, if I had to pick one, it would be Mike Tyson.
I hope Mike Tyson watches this.
I'm sure Mike Tyson's got many more interesting people to have dinner with than me.
A quick fire one: jelly deals or caviar?
Jelly deals all day.
Who do you think have been your biggest influences on what you have achieved, and who are you forever grateful to?
Really nice question. I think that in life, you realise so many things afterwards, don't you? It's not like you get somewhere and you say, I've got there. It's afterwards, you look back and you say, well, I got there like 2 years ago or whatever. And I think when you're a child, look, obviously you grow up and your childhood is normal to you and you take it for granted. But my dad used to, my dad loves going to the cricket, he loves going to the rugby, right? That's what he loves doing. And he had no interest in greyhound racing. Again and again and again, he took me to the dogs when I was, 12, 13, 14 years old, and not just down to Hove. He drove me to Hackney. He would take me to Catford most Boxing Day mornings. We went to Crayford on Saturday mornings for the Golden Jacket. We went to Wembley for the St Ledger. Sometimes he'd take me to the semis, and then the week after to the final. We used to go to Portsmouth for the open racing. He'd take me any time I wanted to go to the dogs, he'd take me. And now I look back and as an adult, I really, really appreciate that. And I know how lucky I am, because look, my dad used to join in, he'd do £2 on the tote or whatever, but he wasn't actually interested in dog racing. So that's an amazing influence that it's just fabulous. So I'm so grateful to him for that. And who would I say I'm forever grateful to? I would say that I'm forever grateful to Gary Woodgate. Gary Woodgate's my right-hand man. He was the managing director of the company for many years. And I think that another thing that you realise as you get older is there's lots of very clever people out there who are very clever and very untrustworthy with their knowledge. And there's lots of lovely, loyal, cuddly thickos, right? With Gary, I'm very, very lucky in that I've got somebody who's very, very clever and who has always been incredibly loyal to me. And I think that, look, Julie, you love greyhound racing. I love greyhound racing. The gambling world is our world, and you find great friends, but you almost find them in the adversity. It's absolutely cutthroat. It's absolutely ruthless. And when I look back in my life and I think about in my career and I think about the people who've stolen off me or they've colluded or whatever, when I'm rushing forward, when I'm attacking the game, I'm not possibly looking at the details and the granular stuff. And I couldn't have done what we've done at Star without Gary, because he's always looked out for me and he's spotted when people have been, stealing or whatever and dealt with it. And so I'm forever grateful to him. So yeah, those would be my two answers there.
Lovely. Okay, if you could bring back one greyhound track, which one would it be?
Oh, come on. Look, I think for greyhound racing, I think Hackney would be great because of the position it is in. And I think now, when you think about Hackney, it used to be obviously be a sort of no-go area, and now it's really cool. I think if Hackney was open now, it would be such a success. Look, I love Milden Hall because it's such, you know, doggy people there. I love the fish and chips. But I'm going to get in trouble with you now, because I know that you always get cross with me telling everyone about Las Palmas. But my favourite city in Spain is Las Palmas in Gran Canaria. But further down the coast at Playa del Ingles, recently I actually found a disused greyhound track. It's still completely there. You see the stand, you see the hair rail, you see the judges box, you can see the track. But they haven't raced there for 20 years or whatever. But John Henwood, who is in fact obviously a dog bookmaker, his wife Adrian used to go to Las Palmas on a boat when she was a child. It took forever to get there, forever to get back. She said she used to spend the summer there, and she used to go to the dogs with her family. And so I think, wouldn't it be fun to go on holiday to Gran Canaria and then go to the dogs? So can I pick the dog track in Playa del Ingles?
Yes, you can. I love it. Okay, if you could only have starters or desserts for the rest of your life, which would it be?
I just can't answer that question. I just don't know.
You have the desserts.
Yeah, okay, there we go. That's it. No, I love my food. I can't. It's a dead heat.
Okay, somebody said, not me, but somebody said that they've heard your lack of sporting knowledge has caught you out a few times. Can you tell us about when you haven't recognised any famous sportsmen or you've got them mixed up?
There's been quite a few incidents, actually. We had a footballer betting with us once, who was a very nice chap. I made friends with him, and he invited me to his birthday party. And so it was up north, and I went there, and I didn't really know anybody there. And anyway, so I'm talking to a group of people, and there's a chap there. He's got very grey hairs, got a small chap, and he looked about 50. And I said, so how do you know the guy whose birthday it was? He said, oh, well, actually, I'm the Scotland football captain. And I said, oh, yeah, so am I. Yeah, well done. Yeah, and I just completely, I sort of ridiculed the poor chap. And he was actually the Scotland football captain, David Weir. And everybody was giggling around me because I just couldn't, like, he looked about 50. He couldn't be a footballer. Then there was another time when we had an Australian bookmaker start betting with us, and he was hedging a few bets and placing a few bets. The business was good. Anyway, he came over to Royal Ascot with his wife, and he said to me that he was staying at Claridge's, the hotel in the West End, very posh. And he said, would you like to come and meet me, the day before Royal Ascot starts, and, let's have some lunch? I said, I'd love to. Meeting a client, nice chap, he's a bookie in Australia. I've got things to talk to him about. How does it work in Oz? Can I give him a map of London, show him nice places to go? Be hospitable. I go to Claridge's. I've been in the bar there before. I've never eaten there. Go there and I sit down. He's with his wife. Very nice lady, beautifully dressed. And so I'm talking to him all about business, and she's sort of eating her food a bit, and she's not really sort of involving too much in the conversation. And I said, so what do you do? What do you do? She said, oh, I train racehorses. And complete male chauvinist pig, right? I'm sitting there, I'm thinking wealthy bookmaker, glamorous wife, she's sort of saying, oh, I want to go shopping here and look at this in London, all the rest of it. I'm thinking, maybe she's got like a few pointers at home, and this is what people do. And so I said, how's it going? She said, oh, not too bad. I said, oh, right, okay, yeah, great. And I said, have you ever trained a winner? She said, yeah, I've had winners, yeah. I said, right, okay, yeah. So anyway, at the end of the lunch, it was nice to meet the chap, and it's sort of like social, but it's business. I shake the guy's hand, and I say to his wife, lovely to meet you. Good luck with the racehorses. Go home, sit down, doing my work, Google this chap. His wife's like the Aidan O'Brien of Australia, Gay Waterhouse. She's trained like 12,000 winners, had 80 Derby winners, Melbourne Cup winners. She makes him look like a complete failure. But I mean, he's a great bookmaker, right? But anyway, so I look like a complete idiot. And so that wasn't much fun. And then there was another time when I was in the box at Ascot, and I feel so foolish because he's such a nice bloke. Anyway, so I'm in the box at Ascot, and I'm obviously quite tense at Ascot, and I'm, you know, you've got all the gear on, and look, you're sitting there, the clients are coming in, you're talking to everybody, people are saying, look, this is him, you've got to go and say hello. Then I'm looking at my watch, I'm going down in a minute to work on the pitch. It's all coming at me, right? Guy comes in, I look at him, I think, I know you. Right, I'm going to be really impressive now. I can go and say hello because this bloke's famous. I know exactly what I'm doing, right? So I stood up and I said, hello, you're Mick Kinnan, the jockey, aren't you? He said, no, I'm Mick Fitzgerald, right? So then, and the look of disdain on the man's face, right? I'd never ever forget it. He could have, if he could have pressed a button and killed me with a bolt of lightning, he would have done. And he said, no, he said, I'm Mick Fitzgerald, but I wish I had Mick Kinnan's money. And then he sort of walked off, and I thought, oh no, fucked it all up as usual. But there we go. But look, I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, I don't follow much sport. Look, I go to the snooker club, I play a game, I play snooker for an hour, then I get bored. We've got a betting shop at Lord's. I go up there, I might sit and watch the cricket for an hour, then I wander home. You know, sports become work. I used to like going to the football, but now it's like, is there a goal? Have we taken a big bet on it? Oh, there's a corner. Is that good or bad news? You know what I mean? It's work. And when I go to the horse racing, it's like, you know, you've got to have a bit of a guard up. I'm there. It's, you know, it's quite aggressive. Yeah. When I go to the dogs, I relax. But when I go to the dogs, I don't know what's running. I'll sit there with a race card. I'll text the bookie down outside, 50 quid on the next race. You know, but no, that's it. I don't really think I don't really think it's a bookmaker's job to be so involved in thinking about sport all the time.
The stories are funny though, I like those.
Wow.
HOVE Stadium tweeted for you. They want to know if you will come and review their restaurant once it's back open.
Absolutely, I'd really look forward to that. I went to the opening night at Romford, reopening, when there was a fantastic atmosphere. They were so friendly, and it was great, and I would love to go to HOVE. I have so many special memories of HOVE Dog Track, and yes, I can't wait to go. And my mum and dad love going as well, so we'll go there and we'll watch the racing and try their grub, which I'm sure will be excellent.
What's the biggest mistake you've made in your business career?
I have never succeeded in diversifying from betting really at anything. I've had to go at a million things. People come to me, they say, I've got this great business idea, will you put some money up? And it's just, it should always be a no. You know, but no, that's it. So I would say that diversifying is the error.
Okay, what advice do you give for a young person who might want to start a career in bookmaking?
Look, I think that that question just has so many different dimensions, doesn't it? But I think that essentially you have to learn how to have a bit of a distance. You have to have a bit of a distance from the sport, because if you think about football and racing and what you think is going to win and what you want to lay and what you don't want to lay, you're too involved in that to run the rest of the business. And also it's too much of, you know, a head fuck, like win, lose, win. Oh, I wanted to lay that one, I was wrong. Now I wanted to not lay that one, it got beat. It's too much. You're too in. You become like a punter. I think that essentially, if you are having to worry about that all the time, you probably haven't got the right people betting with you, because look, essentially, over time you should be beating them anyway. And I think that on a personal level, you've also got to have a bit of a distance when you're a bookmaker, because you are the bank, right? And everybody wants your money, and they'll tell you whatever they think you want to hear to get your money, right? So you've got to have a bit of a distance and sort of judge things on their merits rather than join in and be believing everything you're told. So that's what I would say. Like, you've got to learn how to just let things happen and look at things.
Okay. What career do you think you would have been in if you weren't a bookmaker? What would you have been?
Well, when I was at school, I used to get the train to, I used to bunk off school, and I used to get the train on Mondays to Lewis, which was the next town along. And I used to go to the antiques and furniture auction. There was a man called Julian Dawson. He was a real eccentric, and he used to be the auctioneer, and he used to, you know, sell the furniture. And then his auction house is still there, and he still does the auction, but I think it was bought by Sotheby's or Christie's or something like that anyway. So I used to go there, and I used to buy bits and bobs of furniture. And my mum was very kind. She'd come over and we'd sort of have a, you know, my mum had a Nissan Micra, so we'd have like a chest of drawers sticking out the back of it going up the A23. And I'd bring it home, sand it down or whatever, polish it up, and then sell it in the Friday ad. And look, still now, I love just wandering around an auction house looking at what's for sale. So I probably would have been an antiques dealer.
Do you think bookmakers on course will still be around in 10 years' time?
Again, a bit like the betting shops, I think they will. I think, though, that there'll be less on a more sort of, look, I don't know about you, but sometimes you turn up at Cheltenham and there's 4 rows of them and there's 10 different betting rings. And I just think, look, there's too many here. And again, on that granular level, it's very, very sad to think of there will be some back row bookmakers who won't survive. But I think also bookmakers and their teams and their boards, I think that on the whole they should be a bit smarter, that you know, a bit more sort of, you know what I mean? Why aren't they offering some specials betting, some, you know, some daily double on the Queen or whatever? There should be more innovation and more fun in the betting ring. Going into the betting ring and seeing people, you know, wearing a tracksuit or jeans or a hoodie, right, and everybody's the same price with a scruffy ball. That's not representing the betting ring well. And I think that the AGT, who regulate the betting ring, they might say, look, it's not their job as a regulator to tell people what to do. But I think as a whole, bookmakers should think, well, not just about are they representing their business well, are they representing their fellow bookmakers and the betting ring well? So the ring will survive. How strong will it be? Look, there will always, good pitches at the races will always be good pitches. Number 1 at Ascot will be good long after we're gone, right? But I think that as you go further down that line, we'll need to see more innovation, more card payment-y type stuff as well, you know what I mean?
What event or race have you had your biggest win and your biggest loss on?
You know something? When I go to the races, I can't name a runner. I'll speak to a few people that I really respect beforehand who'll say, look, this is one that if it gets too short, look, I think it's already short enough. You hold the price up a bit, try and get a bit more out of it. But essentially, I try to be the market. Mervyn Wilson, a very, very successful bookmaker. His sons Tig and Dan are still bookmakers now. He gave me a piece of advice when I was younger. He said, Ben, if you're best price one thing, you've got to be worst price another. Well, I want to be always in the middle. So my clients, when they come, like, they can bet with me every time. I'm not going to say, well, I don't want to take that bet because I fancy it. And Alan Kinghorn, he was a great bookmaker. He ran Playboy Bookmakers. And he said to me, people will bet with you for many, many different reasons except price. Never forget that. Yeah. And when a race has gone, I can't, look, we've lost well over £1 million on races before, but so what? I'd rather not watch it. I'd rather go for a wee or eat a sandwich or go up to the box or whatever. And I mean, I know that we laid a big odds-on event once, 1 to 12 or 1 to 14. We won £1.5 million. But essentially, I can't. No, I don't remember individual races, and I think it makes me a better bookmaker. The more I step back and let the figures and the market do the work and play big at the right time when the market's mature, I think it makes me a better bookmaker, and it enables me to play a punter over a year rather than get too in that up and down of it all. So I don't remember. I'm sorry. That's just not what I do.
It's a good answer. It sounds like a good coping mechanism for you.
Yes, that's it. That's it. Because I think that either you want to be like the world's greatest expert, or just don't try and be an expert at all. You'll look silly.
Okay, next question. Do you ever sleep?
Very, very rarely. It takes me hours to get to sleep. I've been on sleeping tablets for years. I listen to audio books. I drink chamomile tea, but rarely I'd get to sleep before 2 o'clock in the morning. But then actually, which surprises a lot of people, I get up quite late, and I sort of lie in my bed like a fat duke making phone calls in the morning, and so my day starts slower, but it goes on and on and on. But I'm a terrible sleeper, and awful sleeper.
The best jelly deals you've ever eaten, where were they?
When I used to be a bookie at Sittingbourne Dogs, which was obviously Central Park, I'm always grateful to Roger Kearns. I think he's such a nice guy. The main bookie there was a guy called John Wilson, Curly Wilson, lovely bloke. His family were really involved at the track. His daughter Jo was a bookie there as well. And I used to drive up from Brighton and get there early. And it was quite fun to go to Curly Wilson's house, that was like a mile from the track, have a swim in his pool in his garden. And he always used to have jellied eels. So I'd have a swim and a bowl of jellied eels. So I would say John Wilson's jellied eels.
Lovely. This is the last one, and this has got to be a genuine answer from you, okay? Tell us something that nobody knows about you.
Probably that I sleep on the floor.
I think your wife knows that, but we'll let you off.
No. But no. What else? No, that's about it really. That's my sort of bit of.
Why do you sleep on the floor?
Well, I find that I always feel too hot. As soon as I lie in the bed, I feel so hot because I'm like a beached whale. So I don't know. I just always end up. It's the only way I get to sleep on the floor. Then I wake up and then I sleep on the bed. I'm just complete. At night, I just go mad. I just wish I didn't have to sleep. I'm a terrible sleeper. But that would be my secret.
Oh, brilliant, Ben! It's been great fun. I hope everybody enjoyed your answers. Great to speak to you. Thank you very much.
Julie, thank you very much indeed.